Hey, and welcome everybody to the Do It With Us session for the 21st of August, 2024, because we might have years of these. So welcome, Mari. Welcome, Karen.
No.
Sorry, we did start talking before I hit record. Um, and I will start with this podcast because I did listen to a great podcast. You'll probably hear me say that 1,000 times, but Layla, I think it is pronounced Hormozi, which is Alex Hormozi's wife. So she runs like multi $100 million companies. She actually rubbed me the wrong way on several occasions, like, really challenged me, which I like. When I'm listening to a podcast and I feel like somebody's just saying everything that everybody else is saying, um, it's just like it turns into white noise. Whereas she said a couple of things that I thought were really interesting. One was about leadership, and she's like, you can't grow past a certain point without having others help you. And one of the biggest flaws in that growth, in that scalability, is hiring the right people. And so their hiring process is ridiculous. Like it's a long time because they know that then they've got to put 6 months into somebody before they reap rewards. So they don't want to make mistakes. But she was like, she's only as good as the team that she hires. And I think it really rubbed on me because when I had my wellness centers, I had 47 staff. So I've been there, I've had staff, and I always used to say it was like herding cats, especially health practitioners. Like, it's a really challenging industry. Well, we all know we're all in that industry. So having that, but what she said to me was, it's not about them. It means that your leadership is lacking. And that's an area that you need to work on. And I just thought it was a really refreshing. I didn't like to hear it. Don't get me wrong. I don't like to hear that somebody tells me that I'm not good at the task that I thought I was really good at, but I was challenged by it, and it got me, as in I left that business going, I never want to have staff again. And which is interesting, and that has held me back, because having staff in several businesses that I've done since then is a lot of work. And whether it is staff or whether it is affiliates or having people that work with you, a team of people that can push forward on the way in which you grow as a business. I just thought that was a piece that was interesting, because a lot of people I work with now are solo entrepreneurs, and we do then have a limit of what we can get done. And what I hear a lot of is there's not enough hours in the day because everything falls on our shoulders. And I think there's probably something for us to all kind of take away from that. Not saying that everybody wants to build an empire or grow to that level, but I think there's some collecting your soldiers, I suppose, and people that you want to align with. And so I suppose one of the things that I am chewing on at the moment, and I know I've mentioned it to you, Mari, and it won't be the first time you've heard it, Karen. But one of the things that I want to take from that into the community that is online wise at the moment is to nurture people like yourselves, to create that container as a joint entity of a place that, if we have business friends that are struggling with the things that we know that community can, sorry, I couldn't help. If we were seeing that you could introduce people that you're working with that could work with you alongside you inside that community. And this community, this group, as you know, teaches all about systems and automation. And I know, Karen, you've referred a couple of people to talk to me. Mari, you're the same. The other Karen definitely has the idea of doing that. And so I really wanted to kind of just say that is what I want to create. That's my intention to the world of I want to create a place where you can bring your people inside our community and you still have ownership of them. They're still your babies and you would get paid your percentage of them if they chose to join our product, but we support them as a community and you can help them with your style of business, which will be your expertise, business being, or systems and automation being the key helping pillar. But coming together as a community rather than me trying to kind of run this community on my own and probably not pouring my everything into it. Delise is definitely, she's away for 6 weeks. And then after that, we have a bit of a plan to kind of create more in this community. So that's that. That's that's my thoughts. And I didn't even know, I didn't even have an intention to talk about that today, but that's been my path of just not being so solo. Because I feel like when you're working on your own, it is all up to you and there's a lot that sits on your shoulders. So I'm wanting to create a bit of a team and a bit of a let's support each other to win.
Yeah, I like that because as a coach, like it's one of the things that myself and a whole bunch of my colleagues have realized is the one thing we miss, like when we finish doing a course or we finish even doing a masterclass or whatever it may be that we've done to, do our own personal growth or, get more credentials, whatever it is, the thing we miss is the people when we finish. It's the women that you went into those breakout rooms with that were vulnerable with you. It's that community. So we've actually started our own It's Not Another Paid Course community of coaches where we can help and support each other. So that's, yeah, the same track as what you're looking for, I think, Rose. So beautiful.
Yeah, and I do feel like everything's a lot easier to and fun to do when you're doing it with other people. Like I look forward to touching base with each of you and finding out where your businesses are at. Like to me, that's what drives me. And it's funny because there's a school of thought of, create everything so it's leverageable and it's, it's self-service and people don't need to touch you. Like they don't need to take up your time to do it. Yet what fills my cup, what my currency is actually helping people to do that, like actually working with them or helping them to get over the stuckness, which happens quite frequently of just, I've got so many ideas of things that I want to do. I don't know what the first thing to do is. And yeah, finding a form, a format or a way in which you can deliver that and create that is, I think, what makes successful communities.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of a lot of communities and I'm really kind of unpacking what I like and what I don't like about the roles and responsibilities of owning a community and owning, that container that people sit in, because it weighs on you in the sense of there's a sense of responsibility of I have to deliver something, especially if it's paid. If it's not paid, it's probably less. But if it's a paid community and you're paying a monthly fee, there's a retention. People aren't going to stay and keep paying if you're not doing it. And I've partnered with a business which I'm kind of bringing in all of the lessons and things that I know I'm implementing with this business to make sure that I am getting the results and still got my finger on the pulse of what works and what doesn't work when you're promoting a community. And I think that's definitely bringing a lot more, I think, value to me because I'm on I'm on the front side. I'm not just behind the scenes telling people what they need to do. I'm actually doing and building that same thing out the front. So yeah, it's I'm learning a lot about retaining, like retention and what keeps people engaged. And one of the biggest things that I'm learning is that in a community, it's not just the leader, it's not just the person that created the community that keeps people engaged. And there's a lot of marketing strategies out there. It's like, you know, refer, if you come to a party and you bring a couple of friends, you're more likely to stay longer. So if you come to a group and you bring in multiple people, you're more likely to stay because you're invested in what's in that group sideways, as well as the person who created the group. So your web of connection in that group becomes stickier the more people that you're connecting with. And I think, Mari, you potentially have that in your group, is that a lot of the people that are in your community are connected in other ways other than just through your community.
Yeah. I haven't invested, like you said, though, if you don't invest the time to build it and keep people wanting to stay, then they'll not stay. So that's where I'm at, and I've been too busy. I'm always busy building other things, and the membership for me is definitely being put on the back burner as I move through the next stage of whatever I'm doing. So, and then just for that example, one of the girls who's part of that Sydney group of girls who picked up the course a couple of months ago. Well, more than a couple of months ago. I think they did the course. Well, they got access to the course like April. She still hasn't started it. And I was supposed to close it off for her after like 3 months, and she's still not even opened it. So I had to send a message to her and a couple of others who are halfway through the course to say, look, I need you to finish it by the end of August, or you will lose your access, because I'm updating the content and I'm changing the structure of it so that the price includes the membership. And if you can't finish the course, then you might want to consider paying that really small monthly fee. It was only $30 a month to keep access to the course and to stay within the membership. And I'm only doing it for those 5 who joined the course at that point. Everybody moving forward will pay the new price structure. So $30 a month, I thought, oh, that's fine. She'll just write back and join. But because she didn't see the value, she wrote back and go, oh, can I just download all the content from the course before the end of August? And I was like, sure. But that's the leadership. It comes back to me. I'm like, I have not given her enough information, or she doesn't know what's in the membership. So she automatically went, no, I don't want to pay $30 a month. And I'm like, to me, it's a good deal because I know what they're going to get. I haven't built a lot of it yet, and I thought, well, that's an easy sell. She didn't take it. So it's not a reflection on her, it's a reflection on me. And it's uncomfortable to go, oh, okay, she did not take that.
I think the other interesting thing about it is she hasn't reaped the value from what she's already invested. And that's another piece of, I think, longevity. You can sell lots of stuff to one person and, you know, but there is a buffer. There is a point that they will get to and go, actually, I haven't implemented anything that I've bought so far. I haven't got the value from it. So therefore, I don't want to continue to buy, and they will stop. And so there is definitely a massive value in helping people to get out of what they've purchased value.
Yeah.
And that's challenging sometimes because, as we know, like the actual consumption of a course is very small. People buy courses and don't consume them. I'm sure you've all got one sitting in your top drawer that you've purchased and you've never completed.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I've got some that I've purchased and I've done one module and I got so much value out of it. That's I still look at it and think, oh, wow, there's so much value. And, you know, I don't look at it and go, oh, that was a waste of money, because I got so much value just from one module. Imagine if I'd done all 6. The problem is with me that I didn't do all 6. Now, some people probably, it may not have that same outcome, but I think that's where what you originally had as a concept of closing the membership is only giving them access, which Mel Brown does as well. You know, like, you have it for this period of time and I'm going to take it away. So you have to do it, because then you know that if they do it, they're going to get the value. They're going to see the value. They're going to see what's inside. And really the reward that you reap in what you're doing, Mari, is them doing the content and then continuing to sell the content to their clients.
Yeah.
That's where the longevity of income comes in for you, and reward of them spreading the word. Like, it's no use people buying the course and not doing it.
Well, yeah. And I was trying to get her to the point to finish it. A, because I want her to at least start it. But B, I am updating the content and I'm adding more. And I'm like, well, you're getting a lot more for your money. I need you to finish this off and have an end date so that I can move forward with it, restructure it, and all those things. So there was 2 reasons why I was like, she hasn't even touched it, so she doesn't know what's in it. So it's such a shame, like you said. But you said we all do it.
Well, we do it.
And I think
as long as you learn from that, and when you get new people in, make sure you get them engaged when they're hyper and they're excited right at the beginning. Same with coaching, like, you know, buying a coaching package, you know, once you're into 2 or 3 sessions, you're in. You know what you're getting out of it. You're moving the needle, you're getting some return, you're feeling some change. That's kind of where you're at. I think that what sometimes happens is that depletion or that exhaustion after a launch or after selling something. Like, you've worked so hard to sell this thing that you're like, oh, cool, done, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And yet you've only just begun. Yeah. And I think one of the other things that I took out of that podcast was, she said, there's no such thing as bad marketing. There's only a bad product. And I was like, oh, that's good, because you know what, if you have a good product, you really don't even need to market. And I personally, as a website builder, you know, like, I have clients come to me 3 or 4 at least a month from, I say nowhere, but like from the years and years of me building websites that people have been really happy with, and they tell their friends. And to me, I don't do any marketing. I don't run ads. I don't run a Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I don't do anything. And that still trickles in because I'm known for what I do. And so I think there is probably a big amount of value that needs to be placed on people getting results with your programs. That is invaluable for the longevity of what it is that you're doing. So it's not just enrolling people, but it's actually enrolling people and getting them to do the thing that you know is going to make the impact on their lives. Because that result and that happiness and that, you know, that review that they give you at the end going, this was life-changing. Like, I'm now on a path that it's going to take me somewhere totally different, or I now have clarity of exactly how to do a workshop and share the thing that I have in my heart, or, you know, you've unblocked something that's going to change my life in every decision that I make. Like, I think, like, we hold in our hands, in the thing that we deliver, something super valuable. And so remembering that in every stage, and probably making the effort of doing everything you can to get them to, like, I would say to you, Mari, that woman that you just spoke about, don't give up on her. Maybe ring her and say, hey, I'm really invested in you completing this course. Can I offer you this to complete it? Or can, you know, like, what think of something that you could offer, maybe even a little pod of I don't know, a couple of calls or something like that with the people that are in there to really get them to complete it as a unit.
Mm.
Hold themselves accountable. Is that, you have realized that, that them actually consuming the content of the course is where the success is at. So you want to invest in making sure that they do. And I think the lessons that you will get out of doing that will be beyond the time and trade of what you invest into making that happen, because you'll either put things inside the course that will help people to stay on track and stay motivated, or potentially an email sequence that is reminding them to log in and do their thing, or you will get something out of it to help your rates of completion moving forward.
Mm. Yes, I need to think about it.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's, like you said, it's such a learning experience. Every individual is different with how we want to purchase things and then complete it. And having been in network marketing for such a long time, you start to really learn that if you're going to be self-led, that people, it's a volunteer army, isn't it? When you're in network marketing, you've all got your own business, and there's only so much a leader can do to help the people with you, but they all respond really differently to how they run their own show. And there's so much that you have to just step back and go, I've given what I can give. I can't push them and I can't drag them along, because I used to have to drag team members to get them to do stuff. And I found that really frustrating. So there's an element of what feels right for me in my leadership, and accepting that everybody does things differently. And I'm now mature enough within myself and confident enough in myself to say, look, if I'm trying to lead in a way that doesn't serve me, then those people are not my people. So it's like, I just need to work with people who, I don't know. I think I'm trying to say is, you can't drag people along. And I've learned that over the years of, give them what you can give them in a way that makes you love what you do and share, and try not to put myself so far back by trying to drag people who don't want to be dragged, and just go,
yeah.
So there's lots of learning, isn't there? And it's that kind of leadership of, is it bad leadership, or is it the person doesn't resonate with your style of leadership? It's I don't know whether didn't listen to that podcast, but I find that uncomfortable as well. It's like, well, do I have to change my leadership because what I'm doing as myself doesn't work? Is that what they're saying?
And I don't even know if it's all up to you as well. Like, the other part that I think is interesting out of it is that, in a community, if the energy of everybody in that community is excited and they're putting their homework in and they're playing along and they're sharing their results and they're excited, like, that in itself is going to encourage other people. So at the end of the day, only you can ask, am I doing enough? Am I at a point of, I'm happy with what I'm delivering? And if there's a little bit more that you can do, awesome. That's a great reflection to take away and go, maybe if I, prompted with some emails, that might be another little thing. Or like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that part in my business. And if people don't want to do the thing, then they don't. However, what I do know is this, as you rightfully said, there's lots of different personalities, and people, if you push them, are going to repel as well. So, it could be the worst thing that you could do is actually offer them an accountability call, because they'll be like, oh my God, she sees me, and they'll run a rabbit, So, accepting that some will, some won't, so what?
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. But I do think we're a good indicator, if we're truthful with ourselves, of, can we do more? Is there some automation? Is there something I can put into place to get better? Is there a check-in call? I always say, with an onboarding sequence, it's a great way to have some check-ins to say, okay, well, they bought the course on the 1st of the month, so I want to know that they've at least done module 1 by this time frame, and pick up the call and pick up a phone call and pick up a phone and make a call to like, if that's what it takes to kind of see, are they stuck at something, are they overwhelmed, are they in their own way, like maybe that is a solution, maybe that's not a solution you want to provide. But yeah, I think it's just about helping people as much as you can if they're open to being helped. And I think coaching's the same, like my years of coaching is like, people will buy a $5,000 package with coaching and do 2 sessions and never come back. And I never felt comfortable keeping the package, but they just didn't want to come back. Like they felt like either they'd changed their tack or, whatever it was. And I can't, like, it was, you had to get to a point, when I was teaching life coaches, it was a $10,000 package to become a life coach. And so many people did that course and never became life coaches. And I used to attach that to being a failure on my part. But a lot of them did it and had personal development, and that was enough, and it changed their life, and they've taken in, so many elements of what they learned into their careers and whatever else. And, there's a portion that you just got to go, it's exactly the way it's meant to be. But I thought the result, like if they paid to become a life coach, the outcome should be that they're a life coach and they're making money as a life coach. Whereas it just wasn't the case. And so many people did it for so many different reasons. So
yeah, so true.
Different ways. But yeah, I think there's probably many facets in that conversation of engaging your community while they're hot, and creating new behaviors, new patterns of, especially, a lot of people create amazing resources and then never send anybody to it. Like, because
are you talking to me?
like, well, no, I wasn't actually. I've just created something with Delise, and we're like, oh, but there's all these, excuses we've found of steps we needed to do before we launched it.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, like, that's so frustrating because, sometimes it's an internal sabotage that we're getting in our own way and making it more complicated than it needs to be, or we like the creation side of things, like we love creating stuff, don't really love marketing, don't love like the uncomfortable stuff, I suppose. And so you often will do a part of a process and then not see it right through, because part of it will be comfortable and part of it will be uncomfortable, and you'll leave the uncomfortableness. And so I think that's just just a human behavior awareness that we need to have of ourselves, of are we following through and creating this amazing content and then not getting it out to the world. And there's a whole gamut of things that kind of sit in there, of imposter syndrome and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought would be interesting to talk about with both of you today, because I know, having separate conversations with you, you're both doing something similar in the sense of talking about doing a webinar and doing like people wanting to register for a webinar online. So I thought I would open the forum to kind of have that conversation with you if you have any questions about the customer journey and the options of how you deliver that. I know, Karen, with yours, we're building out just a webinar opt-in funnel. So we have a first page where it tells you about what the webinar is and what they're going to get out of trading their time for that webinar. And then they're registering. The second page is a thank you page, which tells them what the next steps are. So it can give them the Zoom link, can give them the a workbook or something that they can download beforehand, any prep before the webinar. Because a lot of people will register and get distracted and not put it in their diary. So maybe putting it into their calendar, or thinking about what can you put into place to get the highest turn up rate.
I was thinking about this yesterday afternoon, and I kicked myself because I feel like I probably went on the wrong tangent with that. I feel like it should have been more about me, timeline therapy, what the benefits are of working with me, and then booking a call. It shouldn't have been about the masterclass. The masterclass should be a free offer that I do inside my group. But this is more about when somebody has the little bit of, who the fuck is she to tell me, oh, sorry, we're recording, to tell me, that I should work with them. Like, who is this person that's contacting me? Who is, why does she think she's any different to anybody else to be able to help me? So I think that was where I should have gone with that. Was more about the credibility and why I'm a frigging good coach and how I'm helping my people. So
my 2 cents worth on that, Karen, and tease it out as much as you can. People like themselves. They're not so interested in us, unfortunately. So they're more of the, I have this problem. Can this person help me with a solution to this problem? Does this person have the skills to help me? It's all self-centered. It's all very much about them. So even if you're talking about you, which is, what is timeline therapy? How does it work? How does it help? That sort of stuff. What I have come to learn is that people are evaluating. If I'm going to give an hour of my time or half an hour of my time or 10 minutes of my time, like, I make this evaluation every single time I play a piece of content. Am I going to get a return on investment? Am I going to get something out of this for the time that I'm transacting? Because we all say it, we're all busy. We've all got things on our plate. We've all got limited time resource. So that's what we're looking for. So in that opt-in page, one, we want to make it super, super clear that whatever time they're trading to do this webinar, they're going to get value. They're going to get something in return. Whether that is learning something new, seeing something differently, opening their eyes to different possibilities, like something they may not have known what timeline therapy is, like how that will help them. It needs to be very, very focused on them.
Yeah. It needs to be about what's in it for me. I know that because that's what that's what your potential client is thinking. What's in it for me? How can this person help me? But
I've been to 50 other people, and why is she different?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've just started on Richmond Ding's got a new marketing thing where he's doing tiny challenges rather than a masterclass. And I'm really liking that as far as the one-on-one, because a lot of my clients feel quite probably naked in a group setting. They feel a little bit like they want to hide still because that's where they're at. They don't have the self-esteem, they don't have that self-worth. So even to be in a group masterclass or a webinar like that, they feel vulnerable and that feels uncomfortable for them. So I'm thinking that the one-on-one mini challenges to get clients might be a better angle to go.
Do it as a 5-day challenge. And just sell them the content.
I'm smiling. Like I'm smiling
because that's what my presentation is.
So Mari's doing a very similar thing to you, Karen, in the sense of she's going to, or you can say what you're doing, Mari, if you.
Well, it's not. Well, I thought initially it was going to be a live webinar, like what you're doing, is invite people to come and join me. But then I was just like, I hate that. waiting for somebody to join, and then I have to run a Zoom call with one person, and I was like, this doesn't sit right with me, and then I have to be somewhere and someone else has to be somewhere at that time. So I decided to create the presentation as an evergreen, as such, like do the Zoom call with the slides on demand, however you want to say it. So I'm going to record, I have to re-record it, record the webinar content and then email it to people. So then I just have to work on a social media.
So rather than emailing it to somebody, so let's talk funnels, because there's delivery of this. So I think I shared a funnel with you, Mari, and it's the same funnel that I use for Karen, but I just cut out the live webinar, the replay webinar. So step number 1 is, this is what my webinar is about. This is what you're going to take away. You're getting them to put their details in. That's with anything, whether it's a live event or a Zoom or the next page that they go to could have the video embedded of a 15-minute presentation of something. Now, whether it's a live webinar or not, something in between is really valuable, because it's all about drip feeding. If you want an hour of somebody's time, you might need to give them 5 or 10 minutes to convince them that giving an hour of your time is going to be even more valuable than the 5 or 10 minutes that you just gave me there, because I kind of connected with you there. I feel like I know what you're on, and I like the way you speak. I like what I'm hearing. Okay, cool. Yes, I'll turn up to an hour presentation, or, like I'll buy a $30 course, like, so we're warming them up in stages so that we're nurturing them. So you can either do an opt-in to a page that gives them the details of a live event. That could have a video embedded in it, just saying, hey, so great that you've registered for the event. This is what we're going to cover in the event. Get them excited about showing up, because when you do it live, you then have from opt-in time to going live to keep them warm to actually show up. So that usually is about 30%. So if you have 100 people register, 30 people would turn up live. That's the standard expectations of, whereas if you have an opt-in and then you give them something, you will up that conversion of people actually showing up to 40%, 50% if you put in.
I'm confused now. So my opt-in is the presentation.
So your opt-in is, this is what you're going to get. Give me your email address and number to opt in to get it. So on that second screen, you can either give them the details to attend a live event on a certain date or time that they show up to Zoom and then,
yes,
or you can embed a 15-minute presentation. So the same presentation
I see, yes,
you at the colleges.
Yeah.
Embed that video into that page. So
Correct.
They've opted in, they've given you their details. You can send out emails now and nurture them, but they've had that 15-minute presentation. So they understand who you are, what you stand for, what you're about, and then there will be a next step that you're wanting them to take past that.
Okay, cool.
Which I think in your case is the masterclass.
No, the 5-day challenge.
Or the 5-day challenge if it's online.
Yeah, because then the content of the 5-day challenge, the last day of the challenge is, well, apart from the actual challenge, but the information I'm sharing is what's next. So it's, if you liked it, buy the course. Yeah. And so this is, for me, this is all about selling the course. How do I give people a little taster of me before they invest a big amount of money? So it's, listen to this free webinar. If you like that, pay $47 to do the challenge. You can have all the content of a challenge I've run. You can take part. I'll help you how to break it down, teach you how to run a challenge. And then if you like that, then you've spent a bit of time with me. If you want to do the course, this is your next step. So that's the customer journey.
And in the course, I'm going to teach you how to sell the 5-day challenge, which I think is genius.
Well, I think what's actually come from breaking down how do I teach people to run a challenge, there's so much in there that they're going to go, I don't know how to build the tech comes in big time. So this is where I'm like, at the end of the 5-day challenge, I've shown you how to take part, like, because I'm giving them the opportunity to actually join a challenge that I've run previously. So they'll get all that content, but I'm teaching them also how do you break down and run a challenge for yourself. But so much of that is sales pages, funnels. They don't have to, but I'm going to be talking about, you can do this on a live video, you can send it in a sales page, you can do this. So I'm talking a lot about how do you build something. So actually the challenge is going to come out with, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to be like, that's all great, but I cannot do that myself. So the selling point is, I'll teach you in the course.
Well, or you have the solution.
In the membership.
The course gives you yours for them to sell. They don't want to create their own. Give them a done for you.
Well, it's done for you, but it's not if they don't have a CRM system. Like,
well, it could
I can
be
give them the sales page, but
you can give them an affiliate to your sales page and they just sell your sales page. Like they just sell your 5-day challenge.
Yeah.
So they don't have to recreate it themselves. That's another option.
It's only $47. It's not a lot of money.
But it is someone.
It's leads as well. Like, so it's leads either for more people to join your course, which then that if they join your course, they get 40% of that. Like, so for somebody like, so to me, it's it's the marketing piece. So I think I shared with one of you, it might have been the other Karen actually. I don't know. Anyway, I'll say it again. Jeff Walker.
I'm listening to this stuff just now.
Yes. So Denise Duffield is one of his highest affiliates. She makes 100 grand every time he launches. So Jeff Walker has a 5-day, it's actually 3 days, isn't it?
Yeah, 3-day, like a launch thing.
Like a launch. And he has all these affiliates out there that send it out to their list and say, this is how we learnt launching. Denise Duffield Thomas being one of them. So at the moment, she's sending out all these emails to anybody that's on her database saying, hey, if you want to launch your course or you want to learn how to launch something, go and do his 3-day free launch package. So she's promoting his freebie, but they get captured as her leads. And then if they buy the course, which is $2,000, she gets 40% of that.
Yeah.
So you can do the exact same thing with your 5-day challenges. You can give them your 5-day challenge that they can sell, your exact challenge, if that's what they want to sell. And if anybody off the back of that becomes, it just may not be their market because it's for trainers. Their market, you may need to create a product that is the 5-day challenge as a lead into working with a personal trainer.
Yeah, I don't know that piece. I think where I'm stuck at the moment, where Karen, I'm interested to see how you're selling, is how do I sell? I have no, right, really, other than the students at college, which actually I have quite a lot on my database, I have no personal trainers following me on socials anymore because my focus for so long has been women in menopause. And because my business has shifted, I'm like, how do I sell this lead magnet, this webinar as such, if we want to call it a webinar? Where do I share it? Do I need to do Facebook? And my business buddies were like, nah, don't worry about all that. But I'm like, well, I still have to get it out there. How do I get it out there?
Yeah, well, I use Facebook. I use organic marketing through Facebook. And having my free group. And like if I were you, I would look for those personal trainer groups.
No, there isn't. They're rubbish. Nobody uses them. I've joined a couple and then nobody interacts. It's the same person selling their thing inside the group. So I don't believe the fitness professionals are using fitness professional groups. I just think they're out there. They might be at like conventions and stuff, like expos and things like that. But I'm like, where am I going to
you need to find
expand
out
my reach? Well, believe that they actually hang out in these fitness groups unless they're, I don't know actually the answer. So this is like, where am I going to put this lead magnet?
Mhm.
So that's where I'm stuck.
Okay. Well, you need to
Well, I
find.
think the way that I see it is there's two choices. You can decide if there is no market for that particular thing and that excites you to run a community for
No.
personal trainers that are looking to specialize in menopause.
Well, that's my membership.
But you need a pond to fish from before that membership.
I
know.
Can you see how excited I look?
Yeah.
At creating
But
another
I
group?
think,
I'm like, no.
well, I think it's shifting your focus. If this is the decision that you've made about your business, is that your business now is personal trainers only, you need to let go of the other group that isn't your target market, or let somebody else take it over that is nurturing and wanting to provide something to those people, and create a group of lead nurture. Because if you want to create leads, I'm not saying that a group is the only way, but you need to get leads. You need to get people opting into your freebie. So whether you do Facebook ads or you organically find people and get them into a group and then give them that freebie as they come in the door, or they get the freebie and they come in the door and then you nurture them, that's the sequence of, you can avoid doing the group, and it is just about having something of value, which you have, your presentation, and you just need to get it in front of, like you have with your presentations at the Fit College. Just doing that, you're going to the Fit College and going, can you send this out to your database? I'm not going to show up live. I'm going to try this online. And then looking at how many eyeballs versus how many people actually sign up, and get that conversion metric happening. If you can do that without a group and that works for you, that's totally. Evelyn, who I follow on School, she only does Facebook ads to a low ticket product, which is what they call a self-liquidating offer. The cost of the Facebook ad covers the cost of like the 5-day challenge or whatever they're purchasing. And then she puts them into a group where from there she nurtures them to a paid group. Yeah.
Well, I think I need to make,
I'm going to stat that, because she doesn't have a free group. She only has a paid group. And it's like $8. It's very cheap. Might be $49 now, but it was $8 when I joined. So, you can make it a paid free group that is a resource for personal trainers around something that personal trainers want to learn.
Well, that's what the membership is that group. It could potentially be $30 a month to get X, Y, and Z, but people who join the course get the membership plus the course and my coaching if they choose that package. So they get all of that. So the first level of entry for fitness professionals is, I haven't put it back to, there's still an opportunity to join for $30 a month. And then just have, obviously, whatever I feel is valuable for that amount of money per month, and having the monthly calls and things like that is their first point of entry as a group, because the community's there. So that's where I will, but I can't get people to join that group without having that lead magnet first. So that's the group is the next step. Well, it's not the first step.
The group can, so if you choose, so you have to choose your path of customer journey, is what I'm hearing. Is you have to make a decision of what business do you want to build. So your group could be your lead magnet. So they go into the group, and in the group, I'm going to show you one I've just found just in 2 seconds of looking whilst we're talking. So this is on school. 7,500 people.
Stop it. What is she doing?
And she has 4 people online, 2 admins. So I'm going to guess it's in the United States.
And it's free.
And it's free.
For fuck's sake.
But I will guarantee, let me have a look, right? So if you click on somebody's name, you'll see they have 2.
Oh, but she's got 2 free ones.
Got 2 free ones, but she's got a paid one.
No, that says free as well. They all say free. Oh no, there's one further down. She's got like 5.
Yeah, so she may not be using them all, but that's, so it's $29 a month, and she's only
better, but maybe I should drop my price by $1.
But I think ultimately that's her model. So when you talk about a customer journey, you're like, what am I going to do? Okay, so if you go, all right, I'm going to put my lead magnet out to the world, and that's going to be the first point of call. You have to nurture those people. Yes, a certain percentage is going to watch that webinar and buy your thing. But if they don't buy your thing, or even if they do buy your thing, right, it's only the first step.
Yeah.
And they've got to buy the second thing. So you have to have a nurture sequence to move them along the opportunity sales pipeline. And if like my advice is, a group is really an easy place to do that, because you have them all in one place and you're leveraging your time. You're pouring all your time into one place, and the people that want it show up and do that thing. If you're doing it on email, so if you're sending you're getting your lead magnet out to people in whichever form you do, whether that's Facebook ads or you just get it into groups and talk about what it is that you offer, like running 5-day challenges for people in menopause could be exciting to personal trainers. Like, oh yes, I want to learn how to do that. That might be enough of a specialty to get people into your lead magnet, but then you need to nurture them. And it's the same with the college. Like if you go and do a presentation that's in person for 15 minutes, you've still got to follow up on those people.
Yeah, which is at the moment is my newsletter. And that's the only way I'm communicating with them.
So it's probably not enough. Like in the sense of, if you want to get the most juice out of your berries, you've got to squeeze them over and over. Like that, you don't just squeeze them once and then discard. Like you've just got to keep, and you get less and less over time. And some people are lazy marketers, like they just don't want to do that nurture, because it does take quite a bit of energy. Writing emails, keeping the people in contact. But it is definitely how you're going to get the most juice out of your orange.
So what does Denise Duffield-Thomas do? So she's got loads of lead magnets, and then you can only get into her inner circle if you purchase her course.
Yes.
Is that right? And then you stay in that group. So it's effectively free from that point onwards. So you pay the one-off fee. That's how she works. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. And then she has courses. So she has the money.
But you can only get into the community by purchasing the course.
Bootcamp is a one-off cost, and then you're in the community for life.
So that's the only access to her community is that particular course, but she's got other courses that don't give access. Is that right?
She has other courses that don't get access to bootcamp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she does like a business coaching one, which is the personality archetypes.
And other people. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what is everybody else doing?
Yeah, like everyone's quite different. And I think that's where you've got to really hone in and go, what do you want to create? One that I follow on here. I'm a bit of a advocate for free group to paid group. So this is a paid group that I'm a part of. There's 948 people. They're paying $129 US a month.
What? That's a lot.
Yeah, he's making 100 grand a month.
So what are you paying? What do you get for that? That's a lot of money you're paying.
So I get a course that teaches me how to set up a school community that has a free community and sells into a paid community. I get daily Q&A calls, and at certain levels, they unlock exclusive courses. So you've got to complete certain things to get to the next level. So he also has I'll show you the free model.
So you're in the free one as well. Is that by default? You go into that as well?
Yeah, because I'm modeling, I'm looking at his model and looking at what I want to create. So here's his free one. So he runs Facebook ads straight into this group. He has 66,000 members in the free group.
Yeah.
And it's really simple. People come into the free group. They do the light, which is only a small component of what's in the paid group. It's just the first module. And then at the end of each of these, he's encouraging people to book a one-on-one onboarding call. So you could do this in a course, just have a mini course, which, AKA a 5-day challenge. And on every day of that mini course, you're telling people to book a one-on-one onboarding call, and that's where you sell from. He's just doing this in a group environment.
Karen, what do you have? What's your customer journey?
So currently I have a paid group and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I
But then you have this.
Well,
No,
the reason that I have a paid group is I don't want outside people seeing who's in my group.
Yeah.
So after September, I can open this, and I will do. So this will be a free group. Then I will have our Lotta Academy, which will be for anybody that actually has the Lotta software. But this will then be a free lead gen group that goes into, you get our Lotta, and our Lotta Academy is the next paid level.
Okay.
So I'm probably not the greatest one to model off right now because I'm not doing a free to paid. But in saying that, I bring people into here that I know I'm nurturing. And this is the easiest way to nurture them, because every week at 10 a.m. I do a call and anybody can show up, and if they were new, they can show up. But generally, I get them on a one-on-one because they're not ready to join a group call. They don't really have questions about their tech until they get started.
Yeah.
And so out of this group, I probably have 6 people that have bought our Lotta because they came into this group, they started to see stuff that was happening. They're like, yep, that's what I want, and have booked a call and purchased the software.
Okay, so for mine, Ro, I'm thinking about maybe using the recording of my masterclass that I already have rather than doing a live one. Would that work? Just as a
When
free...
then you send it as an email?
No. In our Lotta, it'll be...
Well, yeah, you could send it out as a link to... So it's just a freebie. So you start with a freebie, and whether you deliver it... The challenge with live versus recorded, people get distracted. They've got the live, they put it on pause, they go help the kids, they do whatever they're doing, and then they forget about it and they don't watch the whole thing. So when it's live, you have a window of their attention. They don't want to go away because they feel like they're going to miss out. So there's pros and cons to live and record it. You would just want to have some nurture sequence if you're going to do it as you get it straight away. where you can check to see whether they've watched it, like follow up with them the day after they've opted in and make sure that they've watched it.
That's going to be a problem though, because it's a problem both ways, isn't it? Because giving them a link
challenges on every way. Your job is to round
trying
the
to get them
sheet
to
up
open
and get
the
them
link
through the funnel.
and actually get them to read the email or listen to a 10-minute presentation is hard.
Well, it is hard, but I think it's a numbers game. It's totally a numbers game. If you are pouring 100 people in, generally 20 or 30 of those people will watch the thing. And probably out of those 20 or 30 people, 1 or 2% will buy the thing. So if you want more people to buy the thing, you've got to put more people into the funnel. Like it is totally a numbers game. Can you tweak those numbers? Hell yes. Can you nurture and follow up to round the sheep up and move them through the stages? Yes, 100%. And that is what your conversion, that's what your conversion numbers are monitoring for. Like you're looking at how can I change the wording on my opt-in to get a higher opt-in, because a certain percentage of people will opt in to your funnel. And then a certain percentage will actually watch the thing. And then a certain percentage will buy the thing. Now, if you know what those stats are, you can go about tweaking it and increasing those stats. But you do have to have people coming through for, and a fair number to get the statistics accurate. And running Facebook ads is one way to do that if you don't want to run a group. Even running Facebook ads into a group. It's about rounding up your target market that want to hear your message or buy or get your free thing. And you've all downloaded something for free because you were like, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, that could help me. Oh, I wouldn't mind going to that webinar. And we've all gone to the webinar. We've all left it because, Mel Brown's probably a great example for me. I've signed up to so many of her things. Even last night, she asked me, did I want to stay on the reminder? And I did. And I signed up again, just saying, yep, keep me on the wait list. And to me, that's great marketing. She doesn't mind people being on a wait list. She wants to make sure that the people that are on the wait list really want to be on the wait list. So they're opting in a second time.
Yeah.
And then she has a little group of people all ready for the next round.
My brain.
But I think having something to send somebody to is first step, because if you don't have something that takes people through some sort of process, like some sort of expose you of what it is that you do. But yeah, the job is you've got to then get that in front of people. And it would be getting onto, you can come onto school, for example, just as one, or Facebook groups, and, go into some of the groups and post. See how people, do posts on your own socials and see who, jumps in and wants your thing. You can automate getting it to them. You can do all of that, but your first step is you want to see, do people want what you've created? Like, do people want to attend your webinar? Do people want to show up? And having.
So does that mean I have to set up the next thing from the lead magnet before I sell the lead magnet?
Well, you can do it as you're doing it. Like if people are coming into your lead magnet, then you want to have the thing that they're signing up for in your lead magnet, but you don't, you can do it as you're going. Like you can have people, if you had a free group, for example, you could have people in your free group on hold, as long as you keep them simmering and you keep them interested and they don't go cold, a week, a month time later, you can come in with something else. And I think the thing with having a group is you can try different things. If you're marketing and finding new leads every time, you're starting from scratch every time. So you're not able to you're not able to kind of come in and, but you're right. And you've got to choose the right business for you and what excites you. And sometimes a free group is a whole lot of work that nobody wants to do.
Well, I feel like I've tried that, and it's worked to a degree, and I don't mind sharing information in there. But then I think it's just because I pivoted in my business, so it's the knowledge and knowing of starting another group from zero is just a grind.
But I think it's just it's a different target market, so you don't really have an option. If you want to do a group, you're going to have to start from scratch. I mean, can you pour them into the one you've already got and just tack? And maybe some of the people that are already in there, you know, fill it out.
It's only for females, the one I've got, and I don't want to not have males personal trainers be able to join that group.
Why don't you ask a question in your group that you've got at the moment? Just actually say, how many personal trainers do we have in here? And find out.
I think there's 0.
Assuming there might be more.
Yeah.
And then you take those ones, like even if there's only 5, take them out into a private personal trainers group and then give them some sort of incentive to add their personal trainer friends.
Yeah, I think there needs to be something. I need to do something, but the issue I have is it's not I'm not targeting all personal trainers. I want the ones who want to specialize in women over 40.
Yep.
But some of them don't know. Some of them don't know that they need to do that until they've done my 5-day challenge and then gone, actually, this is a good target market. So it's opening up a new idea to them. Yeah. It's so like, okay,
it's got 20 members, $7 a month, fit over 50. I mean, like I'm just using school because I know that it's easy to search. Yeah. So you can just go to school.com/discovery and you can have a look at, you know, some ideas. There'll be a lot that, you know, they've started something and they don't really, they haven't continued it. There'll be some that are just really small, like they might only have 6 members, but I mean, that's $666 a month.
Yeah.
And you might go, you know what, I'm going to make it $1 or I'm going to make it, you know, because I only want people that are actually, you know, legit.
It's 11/11, by the way.
Oh. And
what does that mean?
Oh, it's just like, oh, it's all the ones coming in. Yeah, I think
yeah, I know. I feel I'm in resistance of making a decision because I don't want to drop the women. See, my problem is the challenge for the fitness professionals is learning how to break down a challenge, but they're also going to be doing the strong body, strong mind in menopause challenge. Now, I could run that strong body, strong mind in my group.
Yeah.
Because half of them have done it already, and the other half haven't ever heard of it because I haven't talked about it in such a long time. So I'm like, well, that group, that challenge is going to run. Should I not just run it for the women as well and have personal trainers have the extra bit of learning how to break down a challenge whilst they're doing it too? So it's like, where do I put them if they decide to take the challenge? Because I have a group. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to leave the group.
I'm feeling like I'm really attached to the group that you've got. So I think you've got to make a decision that your business has pivoted and you need to now create what you had, which worked and has got you to where you are, but with the right target market, with the right niche. Because if
Yeah.
you're collecting personal trainers,
Yeah.
you have a place that people can put personal trainers that are interested in learning about menopause, but they're not ready to make the decision to do your course yet, or they might want to take the 5-day challenge. You know, it's either a low cost or a stepping stone of collecting your tribe of people that are ready to learn that maybe there's a next step that they need to take and that you're the right person to take them on that journey. And
So
that is
maybe, what do you think as a last minute? I know we've gone over time. Just as a quick, both of you give me a response. Do you think if I keep the Facebook group I've got, but explain to them that I'm opening it up to personal trainers, there's still going to be valuable content in there, but it's not specific for women in menopause. It's also going to be an education piece. And if they choose to stay, they can stay because they're already in there. And I'll still be running a challenge. They can join it. They can still do my course, but it'll be run slightly differently and not drop them like a hot potato, but just let them know that the group is changing slightly so that I'm not wasting all the effort I've had with the women. And if they choose to stay, they can stay.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
What do
And
you think,
it's
Karen?
really saying to the universe, I'm clear about who my target market is. And
Yeah.
if somebody wants to stay and learn what I'm teaching, maybe they'll become a personal trainer and go down the path of wanting to train it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And who cares if you've got a few, you know, if it's Facebook, I'm always a little bit on it's disconcerting to have unengaged people in your community because it actually pulls the algorithm down. You're better to have 5 people in a group that are fully engaged and there for what you're showing than to have 20 people, 100 people that are not your target market and are not engaging with anything that you're running, because then nobody else that comes into the group is going to be shown that content. So you're always fighting with the algorithm at Facebook. So collecting that tribe in some way where you're really calling out, you know, that market and you're getting access to those people, like whatever you're sending, whatever you're posting, they're seeing it because that's what is nurturing. If you're putting stuff in a group and nobody's seeing it, that's not nurturing. That's just a whole lot of waste of time.
Yeah.
So that's I'm always going to be
Getting
Facebook.
off Facebook.
Well, Facebook is just not friendly when it comes to
Yeah.
marketing. Like, they just do not work with you. And you can be running your group and people can
Correct.
do ads for their menopause thing because they've decided that they're going to show it to anybody that has a menopause group. And all of a sudden your competitors' products come up in your feed. It's
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Like, you work
Okay.
so hard to get this audience and you've got their attention and then somebody else just piggybacks off it. Like, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what my feelings are about Facebook. I don't love it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But I think creating a place that has massive value, that if you're in, you know, for all of your people that are doing your course, they potentially could put their own people in there too. So I think there's value of having a group that is for people that are in menopause that want the training. And there is value in a course that is for personal trainers. Whether you want to run both of those or not is your call. But I think they're 2 very separate markets.
Yeah. Okay. I need to think about this. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And see this one, $1 a month, 27.7 members.
You just kind of think, well, how much value are they giving for $1?
Well, I mean, you can always join for a month and look at it and see. You know, generally they do a video that runs you through what's in there, and they show you like what's in there. But it's just a free group or a low ticket is just about nurturing them to the next step. So that's all it is. That it's a place for them to come, create community, and take the next step.
Okay, my lovelies, I've got to get going.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rochelle. That was awesome. Nice to see you both.